You look down at your phone, tap a few buttons, and a warm meal shows up at your door. Or maybe you just walk over to your full pantry, grab a quick snack, and eat it without thinking twice. We do this every single day. But for over 99% of our history, this exact lifestyle was completely impossible. Imagine a world with absolutely no grocery stores, no kitchens, and no safety. Our ancestors spent every waking second shivering in the dark, staring at an empty landscape, and wondering if they would starve to death before the sun came up. So how did they actually survive, and what raw hunger shaped the bodies we live in today? The real answer will completely change everything you think you know about human evolution, your health, and what it truly means to be a human being. This deep secret begins with a dark truth that we still carry inside us. Let us look at the ancient ground beneath our feet, because the dirt holds a reality that shatters our favorite myths. We love to picture our ancestors as brave hunters running down giant beasts with heavy spears. But archaeologists have dug up a different story. Around 3 million years ago, early humans were not top predators. We were small, slow, and terrified. When an apex killer, like a saber-toothed cat or a prehistoric lion, brought down an antelope on the African savanna, it ate its fill. Next came the hyenas and vultures, crushing the ribs and tearing away the tough skin. By the time our ancestors finally crept out from the bushes, only the bare bones remained. Hyenas have jaws strong enough to snap thick bone, but even they had to leave the thickest leg bones behind. That was our window. Early humans pulled out stone flakes, known today as Oldowan tools, which first appeared in the fossil record about 2.6 million years ago. We smashed those heavy thigh bones open to get to the one thing no other animal could reach: raw bone marrow. It was gray cold and dripping with fat. Our ancestors scooped it out with their bare fingers and swallowed it on the spot. In caves across East Africa, researchers have looked closely at these fossilized bones. Under high-powered microscopes, they found something fascinating. The cut marks made by human stone tools always sit right on top of the tooth marks left by lions and hyenas. This is undeniable proof that we were late to the party. We were eating the garbage of other killers. We also ate skulls, cracking them open like nuts. A single large animal skull holds about a pound of solid brain tissue, which is almost pure fat. In a harsh world where every single calorie meant the difference between life and death, finding a dropped skull was like winning a massive jackpot. This explains why your modern body still treats grease butter and greasy meat like gold. Your cells still remember the deep hunger of the savannah. When big bones were scarce, we turned to smaller creatures. Our ancestors dug into the dirt for termite grubs and fat white beetle larvae that grew as large as a human thumb. When you bit into them, they crunched loudly, tasting a lot like raw shellfish. To our deep ancestors, insects were not an emergency snack when things got desperate. They were a daily reliable dinner that kept our bloodline alive for over 1 million years. But then everything changed in a flash of light. Inside Wonderwork Cave, a massive archaeological site in South Africa, researchers dug through ancient layers of dust and rock. Deep down, they uncovered microscopic traces of wood ash and burned animal bones. This evidence dates back exactly 1 million years, marking the oldest recorded human-managed fire on Earth. Once we brought fire into our caves, we unlocked the magic of cooking. We threw raw chunks of meat into hot coals, buried starchy roots under warm ashes, and dropped cold bones directly into the embers. This changed our biology forever. You see, cooking is actually a form of external digestion. Raw meat and wild plants force your stomach to do hours of heavy chemical work to break them down. Cooked food is already mostly broken apart before it even touches your lips. Because of this, your body wastes far less energy on digestion and pulls significantly more calories out of every single bite. Anthropologists believe that, as our ancestors spent less time chewing raw food, their stomachs and intestines actually shrank over time. That massive saving of internal energy went straight to one hungry organ, your brain. Your brain makes up a tiny 2% of your body weight, but it greedily burns through a massive 20% of your daily calories. You cannot run a high-powered machine like that on raw leaves and cold grubs. You need cooked calorie-rich fat. Fire literally grew our minds, and by 300,000 years ago, your ancestors looked almost exactly like you do today. Our menu suddenly exploded. We started roaming the earth, eating everything we could catch, dig up, or climb for. We tracked bison and reindeer across the icy plains, caught shellfish along the rocky coasts, and gathered wild grains, berries, and mushrooms from the forests. We stole small eggs from nests, and we developed an absolute obsession with wild honey. To see how deep this obsession goes, we can look at the Hadza people, a small hunter-gatherer tribe living near Lake Eyasi in Tanzania. They still live exactly the way humans did before farming ever existed. Anthropologists who have spent decades studying the Hadza note that roughly 15% of their total daily food comes directly from wild beehives. The men climb dangerously high trees, brave swarms of angry bees, and get stung hundreds of times, but they never back down. They keep going back because nothing else in nature packs that much pure sugar into one single mouthful. And here is the strange connection to your life today. That exact same desperate craving for survival is running wild inside your brain right now. Sugar. Your mind is deeply wired to seek it out because, for thousands of generations, sugar meant instant energy and quick layers of body fat. That fat was the only shield that kept your ancestors alive when the winter came and the landscape died. A dripping heavy honeycomb was the most beautiful prize an ancient human could ever see. The problem is your primitive body has no idea that the world has changed. It cannot tell the difference between wild honey hidden in a tree and a glazed donut sitting on your kitchen counter. Modern food companies took that beautiful ancient survival signal and turned it into a massive business. They pump cheap corn syrup and refined sugar into soda candy yogurt pasta sauces, and even standard loaves of sandwich bread. Almost every packaged item on your grocery store shelf is just sugar wearing a clever disguise. That is why you find it almost impossible to walk away from them. When you reach for that sweet snack, you are not weak and you are not failing. Your body is simply terrified of a winter that will never come, desperately trying to build up fat stores for a global famine that does not exist. But what happens when the sweet honey runs out and the hunting grounds go completely cold? To find out, we have to look into a dark corner of our past that we usually try to ignore. In the late 20th century, archaeologists digging inside Gough's Cave in England found ancient human bones from nearly 15,000 years ago. When they looked closer, they saw deep-cut marks near the joints, meaning the meat was systematically scraped off with sharp stones. Even worse, the long arm and leg bones were cracked open horizontally, using the exact same technique our earliest ancestors used on antelope bones to suck out the raw marrow. Your first instinct might be to think these people were simply starving to death during a brutal winter. But the data says otherwise. The very same cave was packed with the remains of wild horses and deer, meaning regular food was everywhere. A major study in 2017 proved that hunting humans makes no practical sense anyway, because a whole human body only offers a fraction of the calories you get from a single bison. Our ancestors were not eating each other out of desperation. It was a deliberate choice, a dark ritual, where skulls were carefully shaped into drinking cups and bones were carved with zigzag patterns. This deep desire for strange flavors shows up in our love for rotten meat too. When a tribe made a huge kill, they would bury the leftover carcass under heavy dirt or hide it in freezing streams for months. By the time they dug it up, the muscle was gray crawling with live maggots and smelled like death. Yet they happily ate it because the wild bacteria had already done the hard work of softening the meat, making it incredibly easy to digest while adding essential vitamins. Your favorite modern snacks like aged cheese, tangy yogurt, sourdough bread, and cold beer are not fancy modern inventions. They are just controlled rot a direct echo of the smelly, decayed meals our ancestors loved on the savannah. Every single craving running inside your body right now was shaped by this brutal race for survival. Your brain doesn't know what a grocery store is, and it doesn't understand refrigerators. It only follows 3 simple rules, which are to eat what is rich, eat what is rare, and eat everything you can right now because tomorrow there might be absolutely nothing left. So when you stand in front of the open fridge at midnight, even though you are completely full, please stop blaming yourself. You are not weak, and you are not failing. You are just running a 3 million-year-old survival program in a world that has too much food. For thousands of generations, every single human being before you lived their entire life feeling hungry, freezing cold, and deeply exhausted. Look at your life right now. You might very well be the first person in your entire family tree who isn't starving or running for their life, and we have no idea how incredibly rare and lucky that truly is. If this journey back to our roots brought you some peace tonight, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. Let us build a quiet space together where we can understand our chaotic modern minds through the deep lessons of our past. Thank you for listening. Take a deep breath, and I will see you next time.